Hey everybody, Asian Fahzaly Gamer here. I just want to take a second, put out a small disclaimer to let you all know that I am not a mental health professional. I just want to do my best to be able to help others with my own experience, and at the very least, hope to be able to point people in the right direction if they do need help. And of course, I also want to remind people that we do go into very heavy and potentially triggering subjects. So that is something to be considered. But I do appreciate your support for you being here. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Fahzaly Advice. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fahzaly Advice. Let me start off by saying thank you to all of you, to my supporters, to those of you that have watched and have enjoyed, and I hope have found value in what I have said. Thank you for supporting me as a content creator and this podcast, because it means the world to me. This is my way of being able to give back and trying to do some good, and it means everything to me, as this podcast is a passion project of mine. So, thank you so very much. Now, let's get on into our first submission, shall we? And this one is brought to us by The Bored Gamer. And they write, Dear Fahza, in your latest episode, you talked about a gaming issue, which I didn't know if it was something that you would address on your Fahzaly Advice podcast, but I am so glad that you did. Now, before we continue, I do want to address this. When it comes to this particular podcast, we try to address a wide variety of issues to, at the very least, give my 2 cents and advice, or at the very least, be able to point you in the right direction if you're going through something, and to give people a place and somebody who's willing to listen. And of course, as I've stated in the beginning of these podcasts, I am not a mental health professional. I am just somebody who wants to be able to do some good and hopefully help somebody. But don't ever think that there isn't an issue that we won't cover. The only things that we try not to talk about here is politics. But that is it. Now then, let's continue on with this submission, shall we? Now they continue to write, See, for the past year or so, maybe longer, I have been in a mood when it comes to games. It just seems like there isn't anything fun to play anymore. Every shooty game is the same, either more urban warfare crap or more World War II crap. The games that people are hyping up just don't have me hyped. I mean, Assassin's Creed is coming out with a new game, and lo and behold, it's Japan. And to be fair, we've been wanting a Japan-based Assassin's Creed since the first game. My problem with it is, it's too little too late, and I am sick of the overuse of Japan in games, just like World War II. Like katanas, samurais, ninjas, band of brothers, fighting Nazis, etc. Like, we fucking get it. They have no imagination. I just don't know anymore. It just feels like I don't enjoy gaming anymore. I could use some advice here, Fahza. What do you have to say on this? Sincerely, The Bored Gamer. Alrighty then, Bored Gamer. I understand where you're coming from. I really do. Now, I am gonna address a few things, and I might go on off a little tangent. I do apologize. Now, when it comes down to the overuse of certain concepts, specifically the ones that you brought up here, such as World War II and Japan, the over-romanticization of these particular concepts in media, honestly, is a disservice to the creativity that is in the environment, and it is in itself a testament to just how out of touch many CEOs of these AAA gaming studios are when it comes to gaming and their customer base. They simply want to, well, suck the teat dry when it comes to the money, the cash cow of concepts, of certain concepts that are overused over and over again, such as World War II and the like. And it's really sad because, in all honesty, the truth of the matter is something like, let's say, World War II is a period that is over-romanticized in some form of glorified patriotism, when in the truth of the matter is, World War II was a terrible period in the history of mankind, where monsters were made and people were broken. And it is sad, but we survived that era. But it's never viewed in that standpoint. It's always viewed in a standpoint to make something heroic when there was less than heroic actions that occurred in those wars. There was simply survival in the most primal and horrible aspects. That is what war is. And to romanticize it spits on the memory of those who fought for the sake of, well, what they thought was the right ideals. But right and victorious, two different concepts. And that's not necessarily what this podcast is about. But it is a disservice to the gaming industry to continue to recycle these concepts and not explore the creativity that is there. And it is sad because it is these CEOs of these AAA gaming studios that are sapping the creativity out of the gaming industry, when we have so many amazing coders and designers and concept creators that come into this industry with this idea that they're going to be able to do something and create amazing things, but they're forced to work in a workshop having to constantly regurgitate the same crap reskinned over and over again, so that these out-of-touch CEOs can continue to make money off of old, tired concepts. And it is sad to see that happen, because there is still creativity there. It's still alive. And it's hard to find because it's being washed away by the paid advertisements of these AAA studios and the corporations and the grip hold they have on the media. But that aside, keep in mind, the indie gaming studio is the indie gaming community is alive and well, and creativity is abound. And though it might be difficult, there is so much to look through, there are games that you will enjoy if you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, if you're willing to step out of this need for, well, this need for the highest mechanical performance of a concept with no substance. Because even if that might be what you enjoy in gaming, I bet you anything there are more people that are bored with the same concepts being spat out by the gaming industries over and over and over again. And it's sad because there are people out there that love these AAA gaming studios. They grew up with these corporations giving us amazing games, amazing concepts. And it's sad to see that go to the wayside due to greed and out-of-touch rich CEOs that have no idea what gaming really is. But that aside, there's also obviously the overusage of the concept of Japan in video games as well, because it's sad to see a lot of Asian culture being washed away by Japan, simply because it's an easy concept to use over and over again and over-popularize in the media, when there is so much more culture, so much more history, so much more in Asia to be explored. Now, when it comes to the fact that you don't enjoy gaming anymore, there could be a myriad of concepts here that could play into that. It could be the fact that you, much like many of all of the gaming community, is hoping and waiting for from some of these AAA gaming studios that we used to have faith in to give us something amazing once again, rather than regurgitate the same battle royale or redo another sequel or remaster another old game that nobody asked for a remaster of, while not remastering the games that people asked for, something like Asura's Wrath or Bloodborne. Either way, think about, other than that concept of waiting for these particular studios to give you what you want, maybe explore what is out there and what's being produced by other studios, by indie studios, by ones that you don't know. Step out of your comfort zone, and instead of look at the studio, look for specific genres of what you used to enjoy as a gamer. Start from basics. What did you enjoy as a gamer? What brought you into gaming in the first place? What was the first style of gaming that got you into being a gamer and love gaming and use it as your enjoyment? Something to consider, because, you know, sometimes it's as easy as going back and playing a game that you used to play back in the day because you enjoyed it. And that might reignite something that you may have forgotten and lead you down a road of discovery to a new type of game or a new genre or a new studio. You never know. That creativity, like I said, is alive and well in the gaming industry. You just got to be willing to look for it through the, well, sea of games that are coming out. There are a lot, of course, and that might be a little bit daunting. And there's also something to consider that a lot of gamers that are also content creators fall into the trap of. They constantly are looking at what is popular and just playing what is popular. But inside, ultimately, they're only playing it because it's popular. They don't really enjoy the game. And sooner or later, that association starts to create this apathy towards gaming, because you're not playing it because you enjoy it, you're playing it because it's popular, but you don't really have fun with it because you're just playing it because it's popular. But that really shouldn't be considered when it comes to what we enjoy, how we game, and how we spend our free time, because people's opinion doesn't matter in our enjoyment. You shouldn't be worried about what's popular. You should be worried about what's fun. Because that's what it's about. Gaming's about having fun. It isn't about anybody else's opinion. It isn't about being some form of superiority and inferiority just because you're having more fun than somebody else off of something else. And what the heck does that matter? This is mainly, well, this isn't to specifically the submitter, but this is to a lot of gamers who are content creators. Stop chasing the popularity. Sure, it's an idea, and it is something novel to consider that, yes, you should play games that are being released that may be popular. But steer that into your wheelhouse of considering games that are being released in your genre that you enjoy. Be it platformers, RTS, FPS, third-person shooters, open world, sandbox, survival. There are so many different genres. But it's about finding what you enjoy. Because there's always new games coming out, and you never know what might be the next big game. But that shouldn't be what you're looking for. What you should be looking for is that enjoyment factor, because that's ultimately what's going to drive people to honestly enjoy it with you. And this is specifically for content creators, of course. When it comes to your own personal enjoyment, the only thing that really matters ultimately at all is that your enjoyment. Don't consider anybody else. Don't consider what's popular. Don't consider what this or that. Don't even worry about whether or not it's old or if anybody's playing it, especially if it's a single player game. Only worry about, did you have fun? Because if you had fun, you won. That's what it comes down to in gaming. It's not about some superiority race. It's not. It's just about having fun. And if you don't enjoy gaming anymore, maybe stop chasing the new games and start trying to explore what is already out there. Maybe trying to find something that you may not have known is out there, because you were too busy looking for AAA studios to give you something when they're not going to give us anything that we want. obviously from their obtuse statements and how they seem to act towards the customer base. I mean, you can tell by Rockstar and Ubisoft. That is a good example right there of how out of touch these gaming studios are. So stop giving them your time and start looking at what's out there. Because you never know what you can find. You never know what you might enjoy. Alright? Now, I do hope this helps for anyone out there. For all of you gamers that may find yourself in a place where you're bored of gaming. You're just not enjoying it anymore. The new games that are coming out just aren't that hyped. You never know. It might be time to go back to basics, right? Either way, thank you so much, the Board Gamer. I really do appreciate your submission and for you bringing up another gaming topic for Fahzaly Advice. Now, before we move on to the second submitter, let's have a word from our sponsor, me.
Well, hey everybody! Did you know that Agent Fahzaly Gamer has a Patreon?
That's right, and Random Skull is here to help tell you about it!
And that's right, we're doing this announcement together!
And when you subscribe to Patreon, you get to see content early, and of course, make requests for content on YouTube, and even on Twitch and TikTok. It's all up to you!
And of course, if you want to support Agent Fahzaly Gamer, check out these links. And of course, there are also links in the link tree.
And remember, when you subscribe to Patreon, you can also leave a message saying that Random Skull is better than Mr. Announcer.
Now, was that even really necessary? Well, hey there everybody, Mr. Announcer and
Random Skull?
And we're here to let you know that Agent Fahzaly Gamer also streams live on Twitch 5 days a week, and sometimes on YouTube.
And if you want to continue to support Agent Fahzaly Gamer, check out the links for his Twitch and his YouTube, all in the link tree.
That's right, check out those links.
Welcome back, everybody. I do hope you enjoyed our first segment and my response to our first submission. Now it's time to get into our second submission, which is brought to us by a widow out of Grieving. And they write, Dear Fahzaly, so let's get right into it. I am a 31-year-old woman, and I am single. Not only am I single, but I am actually enjoying myself and just experiencing life. Hopefully, this isn't sharing too much. But I lost my husband to COVID 2 years ago, and since then, I just haven't been interested in dating at all. I loved my husband, and we spent a wonderful 7 years together. Losing him was the hardest part of my life. But now, I finally feel like I am in a place I can just be. The problem is, everyone else in my life seems to think I should either be playing the grieving widow role the rest of my life, or be on the prowl for a new relationship. Why? Why should I have to be either? Is it so wrong that I want to keep my life without another relationship? I'm pretty confused here, Fahzaly, because so far my friends and my family seem to think I am wrong for wanting to move on and live but not be in a relationship. My mother said she thinks that this is a trauma response to losing my husband and said it's not healthy to be alone. What do you have to say about this, Fahzaly? Sincerely, a widow out of Grieving. Well, a widow out of Grieving. First off, let me say thank you for your submission. I truly do appreciate it and for you trusting me with your quandary. Now, when it comes down to this particular issue, it's a non-issue because guess what? Your friends, your family have no say on your life and how you choose to live it. If you are happy, then live. Stop worrying about what they have to say because they're not living your life for you. And there's nothing wrong with where you're at. You had a wonderful relationship. You had 5 years together. You loved, you laughed, you lived. And sadly, you had to have lost. And that's something that no one should have to go through. But it happens. Such is life. And may they rest in peace. I am sorry for your loss. But there is no need to ever be seated in a place where you have to constantly be grieving. I am not one that ever subscribes to the ideal that time heals all wounds. Time simply makes wounds easier to deal with. We just get used to it, making it easier to face, but it doesn't make it go away. The scars remain. But the only person who has the right to decide when it's time to move on, when it's time to do anything in your life, is you. Nobody else gets to determine that. No one else gets to tell you what you have to do with your life, nor do you ever have to fulfill any form of convention. There may be many people who disagree with me here. I might be the wrong person to ask this, to be honest, because I am not somebody who stands by the idea of any form of convention. In truth, pardon my French, what I say is, fuck convention. Live as you choose to live. If you are not harming another, then it matters not. If you are happy, then be happy. You don't need to be in a relationship. You don't need to share your life with anyone. That is a choice. That doesn't make your life any less rich than any other one. As long as you are enjoying it and experiencing it, you have mourned. And you have moved on. In what seems like a pretty healthy way, in my opinion. You don't have to want to be in a relationship. No one needs to be in a relationship. Sure, it's wonderful for some people, but that doesn't mean it's wonderful for everybody. Just because your family members, just because your friends seem to think that that's the right thing to do, doesn't make it so. It might be right for them, but that doesn't mean it's right for you. This is your life. It's your path to make. Your journey to take. Wherever it may take you. No one else is going to do it for you or experience it for you. So why? Why should their words have any weight when it comes to how you're going to choose to live your life? Words are given weight and power, not by those who speak, but by those who listen. It is only by those who listen is there life in that concept, in those words. Any fool can spout out anything, any philosophy, sound like they're intelligent, but that doesn't mean that they know anything about you. They never stepped in your shoes. They haven't lived your life. As close as they may have been to you, no one can say that they are you. Remember that. Consider that when you weigh the words of others and the opinions of how you choose to live. So, no, there is nothing wrong with wanting to keep your life without another relationship. You have fulfilled a part of your life and found and experienced love. You don't want to experience it again and you simply want to live and experience life as it is? So be it. May your life be richer for it. I see no reason for it to be any less than anyone else. Be it with or without a relationship. A relationship isn't something that becomes another being. You don't suddenly become an amalgamation with your partner. A relationship is a two-way street where two people share and experience life together in a partnership, but that does not remove the autonomy of one or the other. And life isn't about having relationships. Evolution, biology, is about having carnal relations in a way that is meant to be a primal propagation of the species. But when it comes to how we choose to experience life and live, we are conscious of that. That is our choice. We're not animals anymore, or at least we are not just instinctive animals. We have thought processes. We are logical, just as illogical as we are as well. Don't stop thinking. Don't stop being, and don't stop being yourself just because someone says you have to be this or that. You don't have to be shit. The only thing you have to be is you. Unabashed and unapologetically. However you want to be in your life. Do that without worrying about what your friends may say or your family may say. Because if they are your friends, they should be willing to accept how you choose to live as long as you are happy. If you are happy and healthy and enjoying yourself and experiencing life, then they should be happy for you. Nobody should want for you to be in a relationship just because it fulfills convention, nor should they want you to be in mourning constantly. Neither makes sense. Anyone who would want you to be so is neither your friend, nor your family, nor someone who cares for you. They simply wish for you to be a porcelain doll and stay within these conventions because you're not a person, you're a role. And that's just not true. Not in the least bit. So, go. Live. Be happy. Experience life. Damn be what anybody says. For you are not a widow out of grieving. You are a person. You are you, my friend. You are alive. And you may have gone through a terrible time in your life. But you have experienced it, and you have overcome. And it seems like you know that you're in a place where you are ready to continue to live. And there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, that's quite beautiful. Hold on to that. Experience and live. All right, my friend? And don't worry about what your parents have to say or what your so-called friends have to say about it. If they matter, if they care about you, they'll see. And they'll still be there. All right? Now, I do hope that I have been able to help and that y'all have found value in what I said. Thank you all so much for joining me, for supporting me. And if you did enjoy today's podcast, today's Fahzaly Advice, please do remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. But it's time for this love train to get rolling on through. Choo-choo. I love every single freaking one of you.
Well, everybody, that's the end of Fahzaly Advice. I hope you did enjoy this episode and you found some value in what I said. And of course, if you are interested in participating, if you need some advice or some perspective, feel free to email the address at the end of this part. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Need some perspective? Need some advice? Want your submission read on podcast? Well, email Fahza at fahzalyadvice@gmail.com. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous unless requested upon.